Greetings and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns. And today we are playing Lords of Gossamer and Shadow, a diceless game by Jason Durall about powerful beings and shifting realities that's considered a spiritual successor to the Ember Diceless RPG. Before we go around and say hi to everybody, I just want to remind folks, or tell folks, that there are a couple of charities that we've been raising awareness about on the channel. We have a drive going with the cast of The Sprawl, a good portion of which are here with us today. Tonight if you're in Europe. So that is the Bail Project, which helps basically helps protesters make bail. We are Team Phyllis, so if anyone who wants to help donate to that, feel free to go there and do that. Also, I just want to recommend folks check out Campaign Zero, which is basically a campaign to try to end police violence. There are a lot of different things that they do, someone has just informed me that we have a slight overlay issue, and I'm going to do that. Someone was naughty and turned off their camera. Who was it? No, okay. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and fix that. There we go. Okay, you can now resume your true identities if you so desire. But just in time for me to introduce you folks. Anyway, anyone who wants to check out Campaign Zero, the link's in chat if you want to check that out. And I think it's very worthwhile because they do a lot of research and provide, come up with strategies and also potential legislation, which they give to the right people. So it's a good idea to check that out. Okay, let's go ahead and say hi to everybody, find out who they are and who they're playing. And we will start with Sarah. Hello.
Hi. I am Sarah. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Adria, who also uses she, her pronouns, and I don't have a clue how to play this game.
It's all about, this is going to be a learning session for everyone, really. Yay, though it be a one-shot. We're just going to tinker with it pretty much and see what happens. Now let us go around to Mads. Hello.
Hi, hello. How are you doing? I'm Mads, and my pronouns are she, her. I'll be playing Yellow today, Yell for short, and yes, I will be learning the game as well.
Awesome. Now let us head down over to Anino. Hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. I use he, him pronouns, and today I'm bringing back a character that nobody cares about, Lakarada, from last year's Amber Diceless game, who also uses he, him pronouns.
Woo. Excellent. And finally, over to Brian. Hello.
Hey, I'm Brian. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Raksha, who uses she, they pronouns.
Excellent. All right. So, before we dive in here, just as a reminder, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we will back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X and N or an O to let us all know if we're still doing okay. And there we are. So, this game is diceless. The characters are supremely powerful in many ways compared to an ordinary human being. There are many realities among which they walk. In this case, they walk these realities by means of the Grand Stair, which essentially snakes up through this space. And sometimes passes through a void. There are a number of things in the grand stair, various atriums and corridors that look like all manner of different things. Sometimes it's like just a stone tunnel. Sometimes it's like an elegant hallway with wood paneling, with paintings on the walls. But the thing about them is that there are doors arrayed along the grand stair, and each door opens into a different reality, or different places in groups of reality. It depends. These realities are what we call Gossamer worlds that exist out there, because they're so called because they are, it turns out, rather pliable, able to be woven into other things by those with the power to do so. Sources of power being either the Eidolon or the Umbra, those main powers that let them to sort of deal with that. We're going to be kind of figuring out a few things at the front end here. I have kind of a thing roughly. These games, whenever I run Amber, and I'm going to do this kind of similarly, I have a very vague notion of what I want to do, but I want to see what the characters are doing and kind of include it there. So we're going to do a little bit of world building at the top here, just to see what goes on, and a lot of it's going to have to do with just who our characters are and what their connections might be. So I'm going to go around once again. I ask Sarah, please, to describe Adria for us.
Adria, she is very tall, like the over 6 feet mark. She is concerningly pale, and not unhealthy looking, just pale in a way that you kind of want her to sit down and have some fruit. And she has stormy blue-gray hair that is usually pulled back in some sort of warrior braid setup. The blue itself tends to shift a little bit, kind of like storm clouds themselves. She is very, very muscular, believes firmly that sleeves are bullshit, and always has these two, pretty much the only obvious armor of any sort she's wearing are these two silver gauntlets that are sort of engraved with kind of the same sort of veiny thing that lightning bolts do.
Nice. Excellent. What kind of world is Adria from, or does she hang out the most in?
She is from a world that is entirely floating islands, and so islands floating amongst the sky, which is in a perpetual storm situation going on. The islands themselves have like lightning towers to try and attract the lightning away from locations where people live and hang out, but and that also helps power the technology and maybe some magic of the world as well. But it's all floating islands, literally in a perpetual thunderstorm.
Excellent. Okay. I think I will. Let me see. I'm just looking down the sheet. You have Eidolon Mastery, and you have a pair of gauntlets. What sort of things do you see the gauntlets doing?
The gauntlets they're her weapons, so they are able to transform into identical pair of whatever weapons she wants at the time, whether it's fighting sticks or daggers, swords, whatever. She's a dual wielder. So the gauntlets on her wrists are able to, they're not really armor, it's what they look like, but they're actually her weaponry.
Nice. And one other question I had is that something unusual happened to Adria recently. What was it?
So those lightning towers are supposed to attract lightning away from places where people exist, and everything didn't really work one time. Just for her, she recently got hit by a bolt of lightning and should not have been able to have that happen to her.
Lightning tower malfunction. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody. She was around like some people. Nobody else got hit by it. It was just specifically her.
Yeah, okay. All right. Cool, cool. So yeah, that was a thing.
That was a
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Meds. Tell us a little bit more about Yellug.
Yellow is short, comparably. 5 foot tall, kind of stocky, muscular build. Looks like a human woman with tan skin, short curly black hair, but streaked with burgundy. So almost like verging into like an ombre style where the tips would be burgundy and then verging into black at the roots. Her eyes are actually light gray from attuning with the stare for so long. She has gone through many worlds, come from a place where magic and technology are recognized as well as respected in both areas, and just happened to find a door one day and wanted to go explore, and has been exploring ever since. But she remembers like the marrying of different knowledge, and also to be able to seek out more of the same in other places on the stair. She's pretty much focused in her traveling, just getting to know different places on the stair, because she is considered, I guess now, a master of the Grand Stair. She can pretty much access many different places and not really be affected by them. And she's always dressed in like a t-shirt and comfortable pants, like tucked into boots, but her main artifact, item, whatever you want to call it, is a hooded duster, cloak, cape thing that is belted, and she pretty much wears it everywhere. Looks like a worn trench coat that goes down to her knees, but yeah, it's something that's a little bit more than just a coat, personally and physically. So
Cool. And what sort of where does Yellug spend the most time typically? Is there somewhere where she stays, or?
It's funny because since she's such a focused traveler, she will tend to explore one place, see how hospitable it is per se. I mean, see what kind of sights, sounds, smells, anything for the senses that it may offer. But she actually likes, looking at all the different ways that the Grand Stair manifests. So it's more of a, hey, instead of like an actual place to settle down, it's more of, I like looking at the waypoints. So
it's more of an I'm staying the night here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not nothing like that she's ever been like, okay, this is totally home, because she just barely remembers where she actually came from, that world that she came from.
Okay, cool. So something unusual happened to Yellug recently. What was it?
So, entities, personages from different Gossamer worlds know about Yellug, with her traipsing across the multiverse, I guess. And they know she's known for a specific talent of finding lost things. Mm-hmm. Or finding things, and then some in particular lost things. And someone or something had tasked her with finding a particular key. Not really a description of the key per se, but just a sense of this is what she is supposed to be looking for. And for some reason, the call for that key seems important. Like it's not just, oh, it's a job. It's more like this is also important to her.
Okay. You think this is maybe a situation where they... I'm curious how they described the key to you. Did they just tell you you'll know it when you see it? Or did they give you like a psychic impression of it? Or
I got a psychic impression of it.
Okay.
It's something of... it's going to look mundane for the world that it's found, but there's something about it that will be, that's it, that's the one that we need for the particular door that they're looking for.
Okay. Good. Did they do you know which door it is that that the key goes to?
All they did was describe it as a world of resource, of energy, of life. But I mean, that shouldn't be surprising. I mean, most of or all of the Gossamer worlds have energy and life of some sort, even anti-life and anti-energy. But this one in particular is just a very familiar psychic impression that you're looking for.
All right. Excellent. All right, let's go around to Anino. Tell us about Lanada.
So, Lanada was sort of a wandering warrior, but things have changed. He's been around the Grand Stair for some time. But he's about 5'10". He's got long gray hair that's tied back into a ponytail. He's got an undercut. He's kind of dressed like a C-suite exec after a day's work is finished. So it's sort of like a rumpled button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, matching pinstripe vest and tailored pants, and a pair of formal Chuck Taylors. So, you know, pretending he's hipper than he really is. But yeah, so nowadays Lanada is doing his best Anthony Bourdain impersonation. So all he does is just travel to the Gossamer worlds, trying out new food and new alcohol. And you know, it's kind of funny because the domain that he comes from is basically Earth without the whole capitalist thing going on. But they're still a little backwater. So even though he's got his little show going on like YouTube, nobody ever really believes it because it's just too weird and out there, the places that he visits. But the production values look really good, so they sort of just tune in on that. Anyways, he travels to the worlds on basically one of those Care Bear cloud cars. You know, it's basically I don't know, it's just like a flying cloud essentially that makes his travel a whole lot easier. And he's also got a pen that converts or extends out into a spear, which he uses for fighting. But he's lazy and he doesn't really try to fight because, you know, it just ruins his meal. Harsh as that mellow, so he's not as angry anymore as he used to be.
Okay. Right. Cool. Excellent. So, something unusual happened recently to Lanada. What happened?
Yeah, so for whatever reason, no matter how much he drinks, he can't get a buzz going anymore, and this upsets him greatly.
That is disturbing.
It is.
It's just
That's the only way he can. It's the only way. It's the way that he learned how to tolerate really unpleasant and rude people.
Did this happen suddenly or gradually?
It happened gradually. Like over a
Okay.
span of a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then, he only realized it after he pummeled someone over a parking spot. And then realized that, this is not something I would usually pummel people for.
Yeah. That's disturbing. Yeah. Okay, very cool. All right, now let us head over to Brian. Tell us about Raksha.
Raksha is a shapeshifter, so right now she has dark skin, black hair and a long ponytail, black eyes. She's about 5.5 feet tall, and she's wearing a sari in shades of turquoise and black. She is originally from a world that is basically Agrabah from Aladdin, but she pissed off the wrong sorcerer who cursed her and sent her to their version of hell. But because she was alive and not dead, she negotiated her way into some power and has spent a long time there. And that is actually the place that she calls home now, is the place with the demons and the roiling elemental forces.
Nice. That's very warm. You get a very warm place, very warm home.
Yeah. Sometimes literally.
So I was just looking at your domain sheet for this place, and it's like demons of all descriptions. Some of them change form at will, while others are always in the same terrifying forms. Some of them have claws, while others have wings and breathe fire. A few of them look like classical depictions of Fey folk. Those are the ones you need to watch out for.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Nice. That's a thing. And apparently they have steam power.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the trains. Hell has trains. It's like steampunk hell, basically.
So my question is, because I just want to make sure I understand which conception of hell we're dealing with, do the trains always arrive on time?
These don't. No, it's far too convenient. No, this is not.
Okay, so it's not totalitarian hell. It's more. It's a bit more of a chaotic hell.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Cool. Excellent. Now I have images of demons and hard hats in my head. Going to work. So something unusual happened to Raksha recently. What was it?
Someone recognized me. And as I don't normally keep the same form for too long, that's weird.
Do you know who it was that recognized you?
I did not recognize them, which is maybe even more troubling. It was a Gossamer world that I was playing around in. I didn't like the way that they ran things, so I just started to undermine it from within. And one of the people that I was messing with called me by a name I have not gone by in decades.
Interesting. Was this a Gossamer Lord that you were messing with?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. that's
somebody.
my. Yeah. I didn't get much more information. Okay. So maybe.
Did you find out the? Okay, so you didn't actually even know who this person was. You just maybe you saw them and they.
Yeah, it was somebody that I wasn't paying any attention to. Honestly, they were just what I thought was part of the bureaucracy.
Okay.
And then they turned out to be much more knowledgeable and powerful than I expected.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So, I'm going to do a one more quick little go round here, and that will allow us to plunge into this. And I'm just going to say we're going to start out with each of. I noticed no one took writing, so we don't have we don't have cards or little statuettes or anything that we necessarily use to communicate with each other, but that's okay. Or at least we might not. We'll see. Give us a moment. We'll talk. So once again, I'm going to start with Adria. I'm going to ask. You know one of these other people, at least. Who is it?
Well, first I forgot to mention that Adria dresses all in shades of gray. So it's boots with pants tucked into them, sleeveless tunic, hooded cloak, all of it different shades of a cool gray. But in terms of who she knows, I feel like given that Raksha has Umbra mastery and Adria has Eidolon mastery, that would be a really interesting I know you.
I agree, and I think we've probably run into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
A few times. Yeah.
Good call. Yeah.
Okay. So mostly it's just been running into each other on the grand stairs, various things. Perhaps you're sometimes on the same side of a thing, perhaps on opposite sides,
Yeah.
that kind of deal.
Yep.
Cool. For Yalog, you know one of these people. Who do you know?
I think I would recognize Lanada because he's like a warden of the stair, right? Yes. So for sure. Yeah. In passing, I mean, I don't know if our paths would completely cross, but I mean, I'd be like, hey, hello,
Yeah.
And then
There is
go
a
from there.
marketplace in this.
The Agora,
in
I
this
think.
fair,
I think I read.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
Yeah.
entirely possible. You could have seen each other there, sometimes. Cool. So it's just sort of like sort of met up from time to time.
Yeah.
And now circling around to Lanada, so we've established that you kind of know Yalug. You know one other of these, one of the other two. Who do you know?
I'll say that he knows Adria.
How do you know Adria?
I want to say that they fought on the same side in a particular battle on some other world.
Okay. Cool. There was some kind of thing going on.
Yeah, we'll call it, I don't know, some sort of uprising.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. And which side were the two of you on? The ones rising up, or the ones that were
I'm leaning towards the
knocking down
rebels.
the rebels?
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was the right answer.
One just has to ask. Okay, Raksha, we've established that you know Adria. And
I
who
think
else do you know?
I think I also know Yellog because I've relatively recently started like doing things with the stair as opposed to just walking around on it and stumbling into doors. And Yellog is one of those people that, especially like in the Agora and the other places where that her name rings out because she clearly knows what she's doing and is better at it than most of us. So at some point, I would have sought her out for advice.
Okay. So, any of you may, on an individual level, if you so desire, veto the statement I am about to make next. And that is that those of you who have established that you know each other, I think each have an icon.
Got it.
by which you can actually talk to the contact the other. It
Got it.
is probably there are icons take many forms, but I think there is a right who shows up at the marketplace to do them, and so that's a thing. And I mean, it can usually it's like little art that they will draw on like a card-sized thing, but there are also some that will make these little carve stuff into little stone icons, things like that. So it's probably something on that line, something portable. Those of you who, if you have a phone, it is possible that you have an electronic one that someone has done up for you of them. And it's basically the icon is that original graphic file. If you copy it, then that is not itself an icon. That's just a copy of the original icon. So that's kind of been a thing. Okay. All right. So let me see here. I'm just sort of as we absorb the things that have been happening. Okay. Okay. I'm going to start, I think, with Yellog a little bit. I think that if you have not yet determined who it is that has given you this most recent gig, I have someone.
Okay.
That I think this is. This is a Gossamer Lord named Phaedra. She might possibly be something of an archetype that there are echoes of her in other Gossamer worlds that are not quite like her, but there is literature that has bled into Earth and other places. She is someone who some think of as like a warden of the labyrinth. There's a labyrinth, by the way, in the Grand Stair. It's kind of like at the heart of it, it is not currently open. It is currently being remodeled, but. Kind of part of the problem. There's something strange and Byzantine going on, actually, with it. That she's kind of issued a sort of a warning that folks should kind of steer clear of it for the time being. But she, at most times, she looks basically like a Greek statue. A lot of the time. The key in question that basically Phaedra's basically kind of asked you, Yalog, to find this and see if you can. You're going to have to do it on instinct because of the way that this the way that the stair has kind of evolved recently. She's come to realize that it seems there is a certain resistance that the labyrinth is experiencing that she thinks could potentially be dangerous. And since it's keyed to her, she can't actually go and find this key herself. And she knows you're really good at this. But you're going to have to basically do it on instinct. She suspects that whatever world you choose to find this key in will be the right one. This is what she has told you. So my question to you is, where do you start?
A particular symbol that I have on my person is a ring that looks like a silver archway. And one of the things that I do, and I think I had seen it in a movie in one of the Gossamer worlds, was concentrate on an item and walk in a circle to try to almost like act as a personal compass for myself for jobs like this, and then basically go into the direction that it takes me, that I feel that it takes me on the stair. So I go to one of the, I guess, larger halls of the grand stair, and I make my my circle, turning around, slowly concentrating on my archway. And then I will start with going to a world of storms.
Okay. So, let us for a moment transition over to the world of storms. And I'm going to go over to Adria here. How recently did the tower malfunction?
Within the past couple of weeks. So within the month.
Do you have people working on it, or is this something you have to look at yourself?
It's functioning correctly. Nobody's entirely sure what the malfunction briefly was. It's now doing its job of lightning diversion correctly. It was a freak, strange, one-off event that has Adria a little rattled. Because those things are not supposed to happen.
Where do you normally... Where do you know? Okay, I'm going to. You are in your world. Where are you, and what are you doing?
She is not on like the biggest island. The biggest island is like capital city type situation. She's on one of the smaller ones. Most of what she does, she is a trained fighter. The idea is some sort of protector of the storm realm that she's part of, and she's just in one of the training camps. Not using the weapons from her gauntlets, but just kind of doing some cool whole army stuff in practice and training.
All right.
And trying very hard not to think about the fact that she's the only one who got hit by lightning in a recent freak lightning tower malfunction.
Yes. Precisely.
Because that's weird.
So, I think one of your you get into practice session. It's pretty good. You're better than most of the people that you train with, and you get to a point where there's a bit of a pause in the session, and in this training camp, you will note one of your this is basically someone who is kind of a this is it's probably an older woman. She does a certain amount of the of cooking and maintaining things.
Okay.
Kind of in some ways she's like a major domo for this place, kind of keeping it running. I think these. What I need an aesthetic here. What for these kinds of the sort of training camp, these buildings? What should we be thinking of?
Think Castle Black from Game of Thrones, but in a thunderstorm.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So. You have this point where it's like, so you've been doing your training, you're taking kind of a little bit of a break from it, and some folks are heading over to the sort of the mess area where they can imbibe or just eat things, and there's a little bit of a commotion from the kitchens.
Yeah.
And you hear cutlery being thrown around.
That's odd.
It is a strange thing. Yeah.
Adria will kind of abandon her own food, take a few steps away, take the steps back, grab the roll from her plate, and just to kind of eat that on the way to investigate what's going on with the kitchens.
Sure. You so you're going to step over in there.
Just gonna poke my head in.
You're gonna poke your head in. And you see her this you see this this lady. She I'm trying to pull forth names, and they are inappropriate. But nevertheless, Idea.
Okay.
She's trying to get at something in the corner of the kitchen. She's having trouble. Like she's got a pan raised over her head, and she's got she's got a knife in the other hand.
Adria is anybody else helping her, or is everybody just sort of staring and watching this happen?
There are a couple of she has a couple of kids. Kids, they're like teenagers.
Yeah.
That help her out, and they're trying to they're trying to dodge around, and kind of like they look like they're sort of engaged with something, trying to one is on one side of a table, the other's sort of near a stove, and trying to seems they're also trying to help, but not terribly well.
Okay. She'll reach over, grab like a meat cleaver from just wherever one might be hanging around in a kitchen, so she's got at least some weapon. Doesn't want to deploy the gauntlets at the moment. Like, this just doesn't seem necessary for that. And we'll walk over to Idea to try and like see what's going on, and maybe even put herself, because she's probably larger and more skilled in this kind of situation, between Idea and whatever she's fighting or trying to hit with the frying pan.
Yeah. You can see that she's basically. She says. She looks. She sees you. And she'll nod and she'll sort of point. She says, "I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's in the stove. Or it's either in or under the stove." And you know, kind of as you're kind of sort of looking around, you do see that bits of the kitchen are disheveled. Things have sort of fallen from different places. So there's some like food. There's a loaf of bread that's lying in many ways sort of scattered around the floor. There's a certain amount of disarray.
Okay. Adria will finish her roll, like just throw the last piece in her mouth and do one of those really cool like spins with the cleaver, and then just open the stove.
Okay. So
Ready to just, if something jumps out, to just, yeah.
So you are able to dodge just in time before a bolt of electricity comes forth from the stove.
The hell?
Just past you. There's something in there. In the darkness of the stove. Well, I mean, it should have been. Actually, that's the funny part. They were using the stove. It's the stove is still warm. They're not cooking anymore on it. The food was done.
Right.
So there, in the dying embers of the stove, sort of there's something that's like, you see something sort of crawling around in the back, and it's just sort of like, seems to be like sort of shaking a lot.
What's the approximate size of that? Are we talking like rat or small child?
Somewhere in between rat and small child.
It's a pretty big range, I realize, but okay.
So like, say,
like foot and a half to 2 feet. Okay.
Yeah, 1.5 to 2 feet.
Okay.
It is sort of, and you can't see it clearly, but it's because they put the fire out. But it's shuffling around in there, and you hear it breathing. This sort of.
Okay. Going to. How hot is the stove right now?
It's warm, but it's not. It's no longer painful to the touch.
Okay.
It's you think if you touched the bottom of the stove, like where that thing's feet are, then it would be painful to the touch.
This kind of explains why it's dancing around a little bit, probably. Maybe. So, she's going to... Yeah, I will sort of put the cleaver back up somewhere out of immediate, could be knocked off the counter onto somebody's head range. And then just kind of activate the gauntlet so they transform into 2 twin ropes, and we'll lash one in to catch the thing inside the stove to pull it out. Doesn't want to reach in with her hand, but will kind of lasso it out.
So, reach in, sort of looking around. It's kind of, it is a little tricky, but you so it takes you a couple of tries, but as it finally gets to a point where it's like sort of leaping through the center of the thing, and you hear this fluttering going on the moment you start. It's weird, and it seems to be moving really fast. Another little spark of electricity comes from it.
God, stop that!
And it's where you can see that briefly that it's like it seems to be humanoid, but you eventually throw a rope out and grab it, and you hear.
No, I'm getting you out of there. Calm down. It's very warm in there. Come on, don't shoot any more sparks at me. Just... And I gently pull it out.
As you pull it out, there's this fluttering, and it's like, and immediately it starts trying to fly away, but you've got it by the rope, so it's like. It's got wings.
Stay still. And
And
Isaiah, do you have a towel? And I do the thing that you do with
She
like
hands
stray
you a
birds in
towel.
the house, and just
yeah, it's like
over it.
it goes down on top of the stove, and you just sort of look at this thing. It's this. You haven't been able to see it very well up until now, and it's like it's got little horns and wings. It's very dark in color. It has little clawed hands. And it looks, and as you're looking at underneath the thing, it's little sparks of electricity crackle along its claws, and it looks kind of terrified.
Hello. Hey, since we kind of have it underneath the towel, I'll retract the rope and kind of have the gauntlets back, so it's not tied up anymore, but it is still underneath the towel. Do you speak?
And
for the love of...
you've heard a language like this before,
Yeah.
but I don't know if you've spent time there. But it sounds like a kind of an infernal language.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like where
Okay.
you think Raksha is from.
Raksha. Yeah. So I suppose asking you how you got on our stove isn't really going to turn up any results. Okay.
It seems to kind of understand you, but it's...
You're in the wrong spot. You're not supposed to be here. I feel like you know that. Hang tight. I have a... Is the thing calmed down enough that we can, like, have it just sit on the counter by itself, or do we need to find a birdcage?
You think you can kind of, like...
Okay.
You think maybe just, if this reacts as a person does, you'll just need to take a little time.
Yeah, I do.
and-
I spend a little bit of time with it, just trying to, like... I'm sorry about the cleaver. That was a bad first impression. But it's gone now, so is the rope. Just hang here, we'll find somebody who can get you home. Just stop with the lightning, please. There's enough of that going around. I'm not going to hurt you. Just sit here out of the way, and I'll find what I think infernal beings might want to eat and offer it something.
There's so many things I could say right now. Like, do you have potato chips? No. But
I mean, maybe.
if you have, yeah, I mean, you're like, see, does it eat coal? Hard to say. It seems to.
There's
seem to have
some
trouble
meat
with that.
hanging around,
Yeah,
I'm
there's meat.
sure. Yeah.
You toss it some meat, and it's like.
Some meat, hang out. Yeah. I'll stay in the kitchen, keeping one eye on the creature in case it does decide to do anything. And I'll pull out the icon that I have of Raksha and activate that. Like, have you
Okay.
lost something recently?
Okay, so before we find out what happens during this call, describe for me what the icon itself is. What form does it take?
It's a little...
I mean, obviously it looks like Raksha, or
Yeah, it obviously looks like Raksha. It's a little charm on a necklace that she has. She's also got one of Lanada as well.
Okay.
It's there, and probably a few other people who are just random folks that she's got that for. It pulls up the one for Raksha.
Okay.
Little all black stone charm.
Okay. And before we get into the contact there, I want to surf through a little bit and actually head over to Lanada for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you think we would find you as we pick up this? And what do you think you're doing?
I would probably say that he's off in Gossamer world that's very high in magic. It's pretty commonplace. Maybe exists alongside of technology, in the hopes of finding someone who might be able to determine whether or not he has been cursed in some fashion or is medically ill.
So you're seeing a physician of some kind?
A physician of some kind.
Excellent. Okay. So this is a world high in both magic and technology. So it is. I'm just sort of imagining a sprawling metropolis with. You have to have zeppelins. It's important in to tell people that we're genre mixing, and so you have these magnificent towers that teleportation between them is permitted, or it's kind of how certain things go. There are certain advances in technology were aided by magic, and certain others were. They've just found the technology itself was easier. It just sort of depends. But in this strange place of science fantasy, we're going to say that I clicked on the wrong thing. You are about to see Dr. Kane. We've been in seeing Dr. Kane, who is getting ready to, who is a apparently she treats a number of different magical illnesses, but then also can kind of apparently uses the center that she works for can have a number of different devices they can use to try to analyze things that are going on with a person. So she also she dips into general practitioner a lot, so she can just sort of figure out what's going on. And I think that they gave you a form to fill out ahead of time, where it's on a little sort of on a tablet where they're asking you things like how old are you, and what describe the problem. Do you suffer from any of these things? There's this big list that you have to go down and check any that you have. The tablet itself actually has an AI in it that will kind of be sort of so there's kind of this like Clippy being in the corner of the tab that's just sort of going like yes, and just sort of trying to find out. It occasionally asks a question to try to more sort of better understand what it is that that's going on, and there will come a point. So first of all, how old do you tell it? Lanata is? I think that's a key question here.
He's gonna just write down 412.
Okay. And long-lived individuals are not unheard of in a world that has magic. But it does sort of take pause, and is just sort of saying, and is begins sort of funneling you more of the geriatric questions, basically.
Yeah, sure.
But it will sort of pause for a second and say, now off the top of, because this sort of this tablet does kind of a lot what the in this society I think does a lot what of what sometimes the the nurse that you see ahead of time who'll talk over
Sure.
with your problems and that kind of thing ahead of time. And it's just sort of asking, now, if you are 412, it is not unusual as you get older to have more of a resistance to alcohol.
But you see, I would think that my my tolerance for alcohol would just decrease as I get older. I mean, I will admit that my liver has gone through quite a bit. Maybe it doesn't like it, what I'm doing anymore, but, I'm just trying to resolve this really, really terrible issue.
Well, some people do sometimes have it as they get older. It takes longer, or they find that inebriation changes for them to a certain point. Do you find that you still experience the usual negative side effects of inebriation, hangover and things like that?
I'm sorry, what negative side effects?
Stand by. Do you find that you're still... One moment, please. You see its image jumps for a second. It's like, what's going on? What? Something is... I'm sorry, Mr. Lanata. There seems to be interference. And, from around the corner, as you're just sort of looking at this, from around the corner, you hear this like, ah! And you see someone get thrown back. And you see this sort of robotic creature comes around the corner. It's got, comes out on all fours. And immediately just sort of lunges forward, jumps up on the desk. And and immediately seems to jump forward, and the spike comes out and impales the guy behind the front desk, the attending nurse behind the front desk, and he's like, ah! And you see this sort of crackle of energy come out along this spike as this thing is attacking the person behind the desk.
So is Lanata still in the examination room?
Yeah, you're actually in the waiting room.
In the waiting room.
Yeah.
And he's seeing this like, wow, that is not something I would expect in this doctor's office.
People are getting up and running.
Yeah, so Lanata is just going to continue. So are we going to finish up this pre-screening, or?
I think that I'm afraid that we're having an interruption. I'm afraid that there is that we're going to have to pause our pre-examination questionnaire while this is being taken, while an issue on site is being taken care of.
So Lanata just sighs like, oh, I waited 3 weeks for this appointment. And he's just going to point his pen at the robot and mutter the activation word to convert it into a spear that will just yakitori it without much hesitation, I should say.
Okay. And so you go ahead and pull out the spear. Yeah, and I'm not familiar with yakitori. Is I'm getting grilled recipes.
Basically, I just skewered it.
Oh, okay. Like that. Okay. So this robot sort of turns, and it as you come up on it, let me quickly just check your stats real quick. I think we're fine here, but let me see here. Okay. Yeah, you find that it's a little fast, but you're able to leap forward kind of as it's turning around, and it's like, and it's kind of like its head is this spike that's trying to lunge toward you with this electricity crackling along it. You reach, you do the thing forward, and you manage to hit it. It shifts just in time that you actually get it in its sort of forward shoulder, and one of its legs comes off, and it tumbles back around behind the desk and is now like, it seems to be shifting around to try to put the desk and of course the wall that it's attached to between you, and you can sort of hear it shuffling around back there.
Everybody tries this and it just never really works. So he's going to contract the pen and then aim, or try to aim for where he thinks this being is, and he's going to extend the pen again in order to spear it through the walls, just like how he did with that vampire that tried to hide behind a boulder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So yeah, you bring this around, and this thing, you sort of come around and you're like, you grab it, and you think you've gotten, you hear there's some give on it as you punch through the wall, and you hear this like, and you think, and it sort of comes free. You think you got another limb, and then you sort of hear this, and as some sort of secondary motor starts up, the front of the desk breaks free as it comes plowing through, and it actually nails you in the legs. As it's gone low, it's changed its configuration a little bit. It now has wheels underneath it, as it's now like rushing forward, trying to push you back toward the and jab you with its spike that's still there, that's like coming through the front of the desk. It seems to just it barely sort of brushes, the spike brushes your leg, and you feel sort of a jolt of electricity as it pushes you back a little bit. You were surprised by that, but it seems to be by sheer force of strength is trying to kind of get you either against the wall or into a corner.
Okay, so Nakarada's pissed now because one, he's too sober to deal with this, and so he's going to be like, all right, well, if this is how it's going to be, and he's just going to kind of twist and flip over the robot and then line up a golf swing and drive it through the window and send it outside so that he has a little more room to mess around with it.
So yeah, you are many floors up. So yeah, you managed to get in just position to just manage to knock it just as it's coming for you again. It's leaping for you. You hit it out of midair. It crashes through the plate glass window and clatters down. It's hitting a couple of flying cars on its way down to the pavement, about 50 floors below.
Yeah. Okay, so
it crashes.
Lanada, so Lanada jogs and lazily leaps out the window as he then summons Fluffy to catch him and lower him down to um, the ground in order to examine the robot. It looks kind of like the world's laziest Fosbury flop out the window. Like he doesn't even leap; he just sort of just trips over the windowsill as he falls over.
Yeah. You leap out, and their cloud catches you, and you just come settle down to the ground, and you see this thing is it's still it's trying to move and it can't. There's a yeah, it's broken. It's not going to be going anywhere, but it's sort of still kind of like with what's left of it. There is, you note on it as you're looking, there's a little panel that, as it's sort of moving this sort of little camera-like thing around, and this little panel beneath it opens, and there's you see a little screen that turns on for a moment, and you see someone looking at you from the other side of this screen. They have, you can tell first of all immediately that this individual is a cyborg, because you can tell that they have basically one eye is been sort of it's basically sort of one half of the face is sort of metallic, and there's a reticle that sort of turns, and you see sort of crosshairs on it that light up. Sort of metallic half of a head, as it sort of as he sort of turns and looking at you, and to the other side you see the guy is sort of a weather-beaten face, sort of leathery face, that he looks at you sort of leaning forward, and sort of turns his head, and as he will say, interesting.
You see, and then in response, Lanada's just going to say, "What's your name?"
Chorus. What might
Chorus.
be yours?
Chorus. Well, Chorus, and Lanada pulls out a moleskin notebook, and it just says "the list" on the back. He goes, "Chorus, you just made the list," and he just writes down "Chorus" on that page.
And he just sort of looks. So, and it seems to be, for a second, just seems to be listening to something from his sort of, his bionic side. And he sort of looks up and says, "You're the one they call Lanada." Perhaps you're going to lead where I need. Glad to see I'm on your list, because I'm coming for you. And the monitor goes out. Would you like to retake appointment?
Yes. Same time next Tuesday.
And what are you going to do at this point, do you think?
He's not really sure. I think he's going to actually take out the icon and contact Yalog.
Okay, well, we'll come to that in just a moment. Now, I think we're going to need to go to break soon, but I just want to swing across to Raksha. So, someone recognized you recently. And are you still in that place where that happened, or have you moved on?
I moved on. I'm in a prison cell right now.
Ah, excellent. Good, good. So
Stretched out on the bed.
yeah. So, do I want to know why you're here?
I mean, eventually I'm going to cause a riot and leave.
I'm sure that's a thing.
That's I mean, that's why I let them arrest me.
Good, good, good. Well, that'll be good. You're hanging out in a prison cell, and so you have. What kind of world is this that you have that you're causing a riot in, or preparing to cause a riot in?
Fairly similar to 21st century Earth. It's mostly technological, very, very little magic, just bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, basically, you are there in the cell, just kind of waiting. And you've had there are a couple of other folks in the cell with you. They're just sort of hanging out. One of them is kind of like almost passed out for being drunk and disorderly, and another one is basically just sort of they're sitting in the sitting in the corner and kind of just trying to sort of sit there and wait, because apparently is look, the way that he's kind of twitching is there's probably a drug of some kind involved, but and you see one of the guards is coming around and looks like looks like you see them. They're still far off. They come through the far door, and it looks like they're going to be heading toward your cell in particular. At that moment, you're going to receive a contact. You can tell someone is trying to reach you via your icon.
Got it. I'll answer.
You see Adrian.
Hello.
How have you been?
Better than you. You don't look like you're particularly in a freedom situation right now.
Oh, no, I'm entirely in control.
Okay, good. So we found a thing in the stove.
Yes.
Looks a bit like it's from your hometown. It's got a demon vibe about it. Not entirely sure how it's here, how it got in the stove, but when you are free of the situation, you're completely under control. And do you mind helping out?
I could push up the timeline. What's can you describe it or show it to me?
Is this like a FaceTime situation where I can just turn the camera at the thing?
Well, yeah, you can kind of just sort of change the way you're standing.
Yep.
And
it's like,
or you
okay,
can. Well, I mean, it's
you
a psychic contact. You can show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show you the winged creature. It also has it was in the stove. Didn't really seem to like that, and seems to have an affinity for lightning.
It's gnawing on some meat right now. Yeah, that looks like there are creatures from your home that look like that. and it's an imp. And there are a lot of different kinds of imps.
Right.
This one is you think it's a dust imp, which is kind of weird because they don't normally have the ability to travel to other worlds.
Yeah, that's concerning.
We thought so too.
So no, I don't know how I got there, but I'm going to have to find out immediately. This is not good.
No.
The guard is opening the cell. He's actually going up and coming up to the cell and unlocking it.
Well, I'll be in touch soon.
Good luck with whatever is about to happen.
Now, I do want to note, just for anyone who doesn't know, you actually can use icons to pull people through to you. If
Oh,
that's
sweet.
true.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want
If you want.
do you want a quick rescue from this, or do you want to blow the building up like normal?
One moment.
Miss Shaw, you made bail.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
That's an excellent bit of news, but I think that you should use your simmering resentment against your job and turn against your fellow guards. And then back to Audria. I'll come through now, thank you.
Oh, anytime. And just however I pull people through.
So, yeah. Now, as far as you're aware, by the way, Raksha, you did not you did not set up someone bailing you out.
Nope, I did not. That's actually that's the reason I'm leaving. That is not how that was supposed to happen.
Yeah. So you are. So do you do a thing to the guard, or do you just say that to the guard?
Oh no. I full on use Umbra Mastery to degrade degrade the order of the system in this prison. So he's probably not going to turn against his fellow guards right now, but I've planted the seed.
He's like, just sort of, what are you talking about? And as you're you're reaching through, you see the far door fly open. More guards are coming in. And they seem to be like, there's something weird about them.
Interesting.
In that they're not entirely, perhaps working under their own,
right.
So look a little dazed as they're coming in. And as you reach forward and you clasp hands with Adria, you see behind the guards coming in is a lady with who seems to have sort of marble-colored skin and sort of tightly curled hair, and this is the individual that recognized you.
Assuming that I am in fact on my way out, I give her a jaunty wave.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're immediately pulled through to Adria's realm. And I think that's actually where I'm sorry, go ahead.
Specifically in the kitchen.
This is...
And this is where we're going to take a little break for a bit, and we'll kind of see what's going on. We'll be back in about 10-ish minutes. See you after a little bit. Welcome to the break. Greg is visiting us from Tales of the Grim, and I am very excited. I just wanted to talk to him about Tales from the Grim and various other things, what's been going on. Hello, how's it going?
I'm doing well, my friend, doing well. Nice to be here on the break. I seldom see one of these.
Yes, I know. It's like, this is what these look like from the inside, strangely.
It's good, spacious.
It's a lot more neon than I thought there would be apparently down there, but it's, these things happen. But no, the thing I wanted to sort of talk to you about this segment was finding out about how did you get into streaming and where your channel came from and all that.
Oh, it's that age-old tale. I was incredibly dissatisfied with my current like creative outlets, and so I was doing what anybody that should be writing is doing. I was watching YouTube, and I came across Will Wheaton's tabletop, and I thought, oh my gosh, look what I loved it. People playing board games, games that I'd never seen. So I started buying the games and Dead of Winter, and just getting into all of these great things that I was saying. And it was my recommended videos popped up, and lo and behold, a little show, I think it was on episode 3 at the time, of Critical Role popped up. And I said, people playing Dungeons and Dragons, this is insane. And so then I started watching more, and I saw there was a place called Encounter Roleplay, and I watched a Cthulhu show, and I said, oh, I remember playing this when I was young, and the bicycles had one big wheel and one little wheel. And then I saw that they were having auditions to be a part of a cast, and I auditioned, and I was put on a show. And then I met a nice, kind-hearted soul named Tall Squall, and I saw that Tall had his own channel, and he had his own show that he had put so much into, and so much of his world building. It is called The Vice. And I thought, I had an idea for a show so many years ago. I wonder if I could do a channel. And then I started with Project Athena a couple years ago. So blame everybody that I just mentioned.
It's all
Will
their
Wheaton,
fault.
Yeah, Will Wheaton, Mercer, Will Jones, Tall Squall.
Ah.
And then
You
a
did
million
this.
friends.
You
Right.
did this.
Right. That's how it started, and then just a million friends along the way. So I couldn't be, yourself included, my friend, and I couldn't be happier about the situation and the progression and evolution. But that was the beginning. That was the first crack in the outside of the egg.
Well, that was very cool. I think the first show that I ever saw on your channel that I came across was Project Kronos, which was, my understanding, a spin-off from Project Athena.
Yep.
Do you want to talk a little bit about those Cthulhu games and how that came about?
Oh, absolutely. Basically, the idea for Project Athena and this kind of, for lack of a better word, a superhero group back in the 30s. I had that as a kid a long time ago. Flash Gordon and the Pulps and things like that were always just a focal point for me growing up. But it happened the way that all great things happen, whether it be a song or, Axl Rose is beating a beat on a tabletop and Slash plays something. I had a fantastic group of people that I thought, boy, I would love to play with these folks. And I ended up getting all the people that I wanted to play with, and with Allison and Strider and Lauren and Lindy and Steve, and getting everybody together and kind of circled up in that group. The world was built around their excellence, and together we put it together. And then the spinoff was here's an insight. It was X-Men #1, Amazing X-Men. The original team is captured. What do we need? Instead of going with like a new generation of younger international stars as they did in X-Men, I decided, wouldn't it be awesome if there was an older group that had disbanded for, mysterious reasons, and that Dawn came in and Kiana came in and played a married couple that were older superheroes, pulp heroes. And they went in and rescued the Project Athena Olympians, and thus Project Kronos was born. And I had this whole other group when Summer and Finney came in for Project Kronos to weave this incredible tale that I was just drug around with most of the time, getting fan fiction from Allison that was amazing stuff that was like 20 pages long, and I would devour it in like 5 seconds. And I'm a very slow reader, and it was just fascinating stuff. And it was just a shared experience and a collaborative narrative. And once I tasted that, that's all I ever wanted. I didn't want, there's some great produced modules for D&D and all kinds of systems, but I knew from that point forward that the majority of the things that I wanted to do were like that. So
cool. There was a point where your channel went from Grimjack 21502 directly over to Tales from the Grim, and it's you've got like a staff and stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that happened?
Well, yeah. Basically, I have friends, thank God, and they like to tell stories too, thank God. And Don, Kiana, and Lauren were able to come over and tell some fantastic stories, and create masterpieces, of which you were part of many of them, coming in for the various Lauren's Bad Moon Rising, and we just, Kiana was playing characters at one point as many shows as I was on Tales from the Grim, and Dawn, of course, telling me Black Roses Bloom, and playing on things whenever things would pop up, and there was a lot going on at one point, and that was of my own doing. I had way too many irons in the fire, but I wanted to play all the games. And luckily, though, like I said, I have great friends that were able to center me and have my back. And it's the best. And it's almost, and again, here comes a sports ball analogy, but Steve made this, and my buddy Steve Big Pig made this analogy, and he said it's like a coaching tree where you have like the great Vince Lombardi or the great Bill Parcells. And Bill Parcells at one point had an assistant by the name of Bill Belichick, who becomes this great coach. And it's like the encounter role play tree where, it hatched Tall Squall, it hatched his channel, it hatched Tales from the Grim, if you follow it, it hatched Salty Sweet Games, it hatched all of these fantastic kind of things that kind of sprouted from that original community. And the stories have just been absolutely excellent. Scraticus and everything that he and Alice are doing over there, just fantastic stuff. I'm just such a proud small member of a large galaxy of stars.
Well, it is an awesome galaxy to be part of, and thank you so much for coming and talking to us about it. I really appreciate it.
No, I like I said, I like to stretch out and enjoy the break. So
It is a glorious thing. Thank you for bringing a bit of insight to this one. Thank you so very much.
absolutely.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to now send things back over probably to me. So we will see you later. Take care. Hey folks, we have returned, and we're going to continue down this strange road that we found ourselves on. I am going to actually pick back up with Yellog. And so I think that the place you're going to find yourself in, it's a very rocky area. You see that there, not too far from you, there is a tower with lightning striking it. And very nearby there is a thing that looks probably not unlike a castle. A structure, a number of structures. Let me ask just, Adria, what does do you have like a courtyard type deal or a...
Yeah, it's a lot like, I think cloisters is the word I'm looking for, where it's like, you've got the courtyard, but then there's like the covered walkway that is open to it that kind of surrounds it, and then like the castle rising above that.
Yeah.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
That sounds so cool.
And then just like lightning everywhere. Like they've developed some sort of shielding stuff so like it doesn't rain in all the time, but just like the raging storm outside on the floating island.
Yeah. So the door that you've stepped out of is an interior courtyard door. For sort of this, so you're in an open area and you can kind of see all of these things where you are. You're just sort of up enough that you can kind of figure it out. What would you like to do?
Do I see any people?
There are a few people. It looks like there's some people just sort of hanging out near an entrance. That they have been. It looks like they are dressed in... They would not be wearing metal armor.
No.
Not in this place. It looked like they're wearing some kind of padded armor. They're just sort of this is sort of a few of them just sort of hanging out and they're talking. They've got their arms crossed and they're just sort of talking.
Yeah, I basically, since I'm going by instinct, I'm pretty much going to head over to the group, and I usually find myself very neutral / amiable when I come into a new place, like a door that I may or may not have gone through before, and then I use one of the warden's abilities, warden / master abilities, to be able to talk to them just in case they don't speak what language I'm speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so Sieges, and then I go, hi.
So I need to quickly ask Adria, what's your visitor's policy?
Stab first, talk later.
It's not quite stab first, talk later. It's more of visitors are welcome, but it's very rare to have them given the setup of this is a world entirely of floating islands in a thunderstorm. Like, it's really weird that somebody would just show up. Like, we would have seen a dirigible coming and known that it was on its way. So they're not going to jump up and stab you, but there's going to be a lot of concern and skepticism as to, like, how did you get here and we didn't know you were on the way?
I mean, to greet you with a pike in the right now.
Yeah.
So
for one, I'm pretty sure I am smaller than the denizens of this world.
Yeah.
And I'm also not clothed in any discernible armor per se. I mean, it's just me in my trench coat.
Well, they see you coming, and it looks like they're on. They turn as soon as they see you coming, and they're a little bit on alert. But they're not it's not like alert to attack. It's more like, okay. As one of them sort of reaches over and casually grabs a pole arm that he's holding. And as you sort of step up, the one in front just sort of looks up.
Oh, and I just immediately, using my ability, I'm pretty much, doing the gesture of, see, no weapons. And I go, "Hi, I am the traveler Yalog.
We did
I
not.
am-
Go ahead.
I am seeking, at the moment, traveling, and I happened here. I am meaning no one any ill will. I am just passing through."
You sort of look you over. We didn't see a vessel.
If you are aware of any, I don't know the word in your language, but travelers of the stair,
We sort of look at each other.
different worlds, different places.
Interesting. All right. We'd probably need to have talk to Adrian here. Could you just give us a moment, and we'll inquire within. Do
Absolutely.
you have what is your, may I ask what your business here is?
Again, I am seeking. I am looking for what would be known as the key. And I am passing through on my way to trying to find this key.
I see. Would you, and the guy in the back is like, yeah, turns around, goes inside. While that individual is inside, and you're standing and you're waiting for the them to get back, you feel as though there's a contact coming on. It's feels as though someone is trying to reach you. And the question is, do you open your mind to the contact or not?
I think I can sense whether it is malevolent versus, of course, benign. So
Seems benign as far as you can see.
as it is, I mean, it's kind of like view only for my mind. That's basically what I do. Read only. So, okay, so I open up that much to the contact.
It's Lanata.
And then I kind of turn away from whatever group is remaining, and I look like I'm looking up at the sky, but speaking in my head. Nanada, what's up?
Oh, hey, Senpai.
Hi.
Do you know a cyborg by the name of, what was that dick's name? And you hear a shuffling of papers as Lanata goes through his list. Chorus?
Doesn't ring a bell. You said robot? Cyborg?
Cyborg, I
Cyborg.
think. Half human. Cybernetic parts.
But he specifically named himself to
He did.
you.
Yeah, and apparently he knows who I am. I don't know if he was really targeting me per se, but I was just in the doctor's office, and this robot just came in and started stabbing people. It was not how I envisioned going to a doctor's office. He didn't ask for my
One,
copay though, which was nice. So
I hope you're okay, first off. And second, do you need to come through? Do you need to kind of get away for a little while? I mean,
oh
I have not heard of
Said
this
he was-
individual.
no, but he said he was coming for me, and I'm a little under the weather, a little distracted, so I could use some company for a while.
Well, I'm on a job, so I mean, you are totally welcome to come along. So if you'd like to be pulled through, I mean, I can totally, have you join me. We're gonna be traveling though. I hope that's okay.
Oh, I'm all about traveling. That's kind of my job.
Excellent. All right. So, I kind of use the pull of my personal symbol, and then I kind of make a couple of passes with my ring hand, and then design an archway in their courtyard. This is fun. And I pull Lanata through.
Yeah, you're sort of doing this. And,
Yes.
they sort of see you can and you can see Lanata where Lanata is when unless he's blocking it, you can see where he is when you do this. And you pull him through, and Lanata, you're standing in this courtyard, and there are a couple of guards who now have their pikes up.
So the thing was that Lanata was in his cloud car when he made the call. So when he arrives, he's sort of in this cloud. He's in this cloud chase, lounging, while on his phone, and then he just looks around at all the guys with pikes and goes, "Oh, I see." And then he just hangs up. It just holds up his hands half-heartedly.
And they just sort of.
I just turned to the guards, and it's fine. I told you, I'm a traveler. I have other people that may travel with me. He's a traveler too now. It's okay.
Just sort of the one on the right just sort of touches the shoulder of the one on the left. And the left sort of turns, sort of leans in. They whisper, and he whispers something along the lines of go sound the alarm. Guy's turning in. We're gonna go inside for just a moment. So Adria, you have pulled Raksha into the kitchen. And Raksha, you are inside a medieval-ish kitchen, complete with stove, cutting board, and imp.
Hey, thanks for coming. You are muted.
Indeed, I was. Thank you for letting me know about this.
Yeah.
Do you still have that red wine that you introduced me to last time I was here?
Indeed, I do. And I wander off to wine cellar and grab a bottle, 2 bottles, just on the safe side.
Nice.
Bottles. Yeah, no, you grab the you go. The wine cellar's not very far away.
Yeah.
The imp, meanwhile, is just sort of sitting on the edge of the stove, staring at Raksha.
Stay put. No lightning. I'll be right back. I promise. Talking to the imp, and goes off to grab the wine.
I think the imp is just sort of looking. It kind of is doing this thing where it's bowing its head.
I'll kneel and hold out my hand, and in its language, beckon it forward.
Slowly crawls forward toward the edge of the stove.
How did you get here?
Thing came, pulled at us. It washed us through, out. We fell to this place. I fell to this place. We don't know where the others went. At this point, a guard comes in.
Azria comes back with the 2 bottles of wine.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
and he just sort of stops for a second, seeing Raksha here.
and
It's
the imp-
fine.
You've been here before, though.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So I think, yeah. So this guard just sort of turns. Excuse me, miss. I don't know if they do. They address you with an honorific like lady or anything of that nature, or is this?
We'll go with lady.
Okay.
It's like some just because it sounds cool. I don't
Lady
really.
Adria, it would appear that we have visitors from away. A visitor from away has just appeared in the courtyard.
Normal.
We did not. They did not arrive by craft. They said that they arrived via a stair.
Okay. This day has gone in a very different direction than I anticipated when I got out of bed this morning. All right. Raksha, do you have the... What are we going to do about the imp?
I'll attend to him if you need to
Yeah, let
invite
me
your guests in.
see what's going on with that. And I put both bottles of wine down on the counter by Raksha. Help yourself. If you'd like a glass, they're in the cupboard.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I grab an apple on my way out and just punch in.
Okay. So you head out, and you're going to pretty quickly as you're coming near the entrance. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle as another guard is sort of turning and kind of starting to move pretty quickly, and as he sort of sees you, he's like, "There's another one."
What?
They're just popping into the courtyard.
Did we forget to lock a door? I mean, honestly, we've had that conversation, Benjamin. All right. I look at the guard who walked over. You said there was one, and now there's more.
There are two now, and the one who's following the guard following you out is like, there was only one.
Okay. I'll walk out, casually eating an apple, into the courtyard to Yalog and Lanada.
Yeah, so you recognize
Lanada,
them,
I
yeah.
recognize. Yeah. Like, oh, hello again.
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, Leonardo's just looks up. He's still lounging in the chase because he can't be bothered to just stand up or sit up. But when he sees Adria, he goes, "Oh, Lady Adria," and he kick flips up off the chase and dusts himself off. He goes, "Hey,
Hello.
go."
Oh, and I look from Lanada to Adria, and I oh lady. So I go ahead and do a deep bow.
Oh, that's not necessary. It's a title. It doesn't. It's a hierarchy thing. It's not a royalty thing. You don't need to do that. So what brings you to the Stormlands? Both of you. This has been a very odd day.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm Yalog.
Oh, hello.
Nice to meet
Yes, I'm Adria. It's nice to meet you. Handshake.
And then I was the one who came here. I was led. I don't know if you're familiar with my function as someone who travels the stair, the grand stair. And so I seek. I do not mean anyone any harm or anything like that. I have a job that I am seeking a particular key, and I had spoken with Lanada just before your guards brought you, and he seemed to be in trouble, so I wanted to bring him along with me to try to prevent anything else from happening.
That happens to him. Yeah, so do you want do you want to come inside? There's another visitor as well. I look at the guard and go, the one dealing with the imp is okay to be here. The imp, not so much, but we've got that under control. Let's get everyone in one place, and then there's some very odd things happening. Let's get everybody.
All right, and the guard is sort of, as you're kind of entering, the guard kind of is looking past you and is like, are you expecting any other visitors, my lady?
No, but in all honesty, I wasn't expecting these two, so that does not mean that no more will be showing up.
So is that one okay?
Wait, what?
So you look out and you see that out kind of near the entrance, and still a little far away, there is a figure in a cloak.
Real original, buddy. And she flares her own cloak. And it's still there, just staring, or did it finish?
It stopped.
Okay.
And then it seems to be moving toward you, or toward the inner castle. It's.
I'm going to activate the icon for Raksha.
Okay.
And say, if the imp is under control, would you mind joining me out here? There's a small crowd arriving, and we have a newcomer I'm not entirely sure what to do with.
When more than two of us are attracted to the same place, it's never good.
No.
Yes, I'll reach forward.
Okay.
Just
But
lazy.
before I do that, I'll turn to the imp. Stay.
Yes, ma'am. Just lazily trumping your way out there when you could walk. It's all of like 20 feet. No,
Yep.
Anyway. No,
Right, yeah.
Yes, this figure in a cloak is moving forward, and yeah. So just to get everyone up to speed, Raksha has now appeared, standing next to Adria, and Raksha, of course, you see Yalog and someone else on a cloud.
Hi.
Or by a cloud.
Oh, it's
Oh,
good
you
to see you,
Know
but
each other.
we've met several times in the Agora, as it turns out. But I'm getting more worried if someone of your abilities has been attracted here.
I only originally came seeking. I'm looking for a particular key, and I was called here.
Ooh, well, that's how it starts.
That's, again, extraordinarily normal, I'm sure. Figure still walking toward us.
It has when you look back at it, it stops for a second and sort of cocks its head. For a moment, seems to be staring in your direction.
Is it
Do we all
moving
see
humanish?
Well, you're starting to see now. It's a little closer. It looks a little odd, but it's it seems completely shrouded in its cloak. Cocks its head, and then it starts. And then it looks like it's breaking into a run.
Oh, nope. Adria activates her gauntlets, which turn into, they look a lot like lightsabers, but it's lightning sword. And they make that lightsaber activation noise too, and she's just now dual wielding swords of lightning.
And
Makes a
similarly,
step kind of in front of.
I wasn't holding anything before, but now I have a sword. And in order to fit in with the locals, it is not metal. I'm guessing it's like really sharp ceramic.
Takes a defensive position, sort of,
Like-
bit in front of the other two, kind of next to Raksha.
So it stops for a moment, as just a little bit out in front of you, and again it's largely shrouded, but it sort of takes this sort of slightly wider stance, and seems to move its head back and forth for a second, seeing the four of you there at that entrance. And for a moment, it's sort of just before it bolts to the left, you see that the cloak curl up, and you see that its legs are made of metal, and its arms seem to be made of metal, and it's moving around. It seems to be bolting toward a far portion of the castle, just sort of the other corner. And it's running kind of in that T-1000 style that one perhaps has seen before.
Nope. Edgar will turn to the guards that are standing there and say, "Sound the alarm. Go."
Sounding the alarm! I knew we should have sounded the alarm. Oh, that's all right.
Go.
They go, they're running in.
And
After a second, you hear it. Ding, 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 ding.
thank you. And gestures for Raksha, like, you want to see if we can cut this thing off? And so she bolts one way and try and
Yeah, I'll
flank it.
follow Edria's lead.
And Yalog turns to Lanada and goes, "Have you seen that before?"
Lanada just pulls out a flask and sighs as after taking a sip because it's doing nothing for him right now. Goes, "Nope, can't say I have."
Did you find out what was wrong with you?
No, I still don't know why I can't get drunk or buzzed, tipsy. Can't believe it because I listened through an entire Fish album.
Oh, so you imbibe, but you can't enjoy it.
Nope.
Oh.
I'm just imagining this conversation happen where there's like sounds of fighting in the background.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we're travelers. I mean, like, I mean,
Exactly.
I don't have any, real fighting ability per se. It's just, like I'm passing through.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's great. It's great.
The thing is, Lanada can fight. He's just sort of like, oh, well, I didn't really
responded.
sign up for this.
Yeah, he's despondent, so.
Yeah, no, it's understandable.
He's occasionally scratching his forearm a little bit.
Oh God. So yeah, so let's see. Adria is trying to get in front of it, and Raksha is coming from behind it. Is that what's happening, or is it the other way around?
Yeah, we're flanking. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Okay. Let me just take a look at a couple things. Okay. You actually
That's a good noise.
just barely miss it as it sort of hits the center point between the two of you, jumps up and begins climbing up the wall. As you can see that its arms are metallic,
Cool.
and it's making these little spikes that it's using to climb
Oh,
up
I have
the
an
side of
idea.
the wall.
So do I. What's your idea?
I'm gonna see if I can make its arms fall off.
Oh, I like your idea.
I'm going to weaken the links between its arms and the rest of it.
Oh, nice.
They were gonna wear out eventually anyway. Looks like now's the time.
Yeah. So you just sort of stop for a second, and you're like, "What does this look like when you do this? Do you when you?"
Yeah. So anyone looking at me, the shadows around me become darker and larger. And I let's see. I still have my sword in my left hand, but I'll point forward with my right and just say, "Die."
Anata's sitting there, takes another sip, like, ooh, dramatic.
See, it pulls up and it gets like thing where it's like, and the joint comes away when it's like it's like a third of the way up the wall when this happens, and it's like, and it's trying to and it starts to dangle from the other arm, which also snaps, and it comes tumbling down end over end. And as it's doing so, it just sort of was like, you can see its cloak billowing up past it. You can see its head, which is entirely metallic. It's got sort of a little kind of sort of red oval-shaped visor-looking thing with a sort of red signal going. And it when it lands, as it sort of seems to flip over, and it lands on its legs. And as it does so, it broadened its base, and you see it quickly flips down, sort of backwards, and extends a couple of more things from its sort of core, and begins now just sort of with these new shorter limbs starting to race back in the direction of the door that you had left.
So it's kind of traveling back toward.
It's actually kind of traveling back toward Raksha. It looks like it's going to try to get past her.
Okay. Stay still in one direction. And bolts after it, trying to get like at least in range, because this thing is all metal and she's carrying swords of lightning.
Yeah.
So at least within range, like she doesn't need to get like within full melee range. Just needs to be within reach. I just like zap it.
Good point.
Excellent. Let's see here. With your zappy gloves. Let's see. Oh, deadly damage. Yes, okay. You hit this thing, and it's like, and it goes down. Flips over kind of on its back. Was its front a moment ago. And it's like, and it stops.
Real smart coming to a land of lightning when you're all metal, buddy. Safety tip for the future. And I like kick it with my toes just to make sure it's really inactive, and like lift it up, sling it over my shoulder, and walk back to the group.
Well,
nice.
If it is inactive.
When you kick it, this brief like curl of electricity goes over it for a moment, and a panel opens.
Oh.
In its chest. You see this little monitor come on. And you see this vision of this cyborg-looking guy that I described earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Leathery face, metallic-looking other side of face. Ah. There you are.
How the hell are you?
Oh, you're going to get to know me quite well soon. Now
I
that
don't really
know where you are and where
want that.
it is.
Not interested. I have enough friends, thank you.
You're so sure about that?
Yes.
You're sure the thing that you're harboring has got something much more dangerous than me?
Not hovering. What the?
And the monitor goes off.
All right.
Well, that was tedious. All of us are dangerous.
Did I eat some? Was the cheese bad last night at dinner? This has been very weird. The wine go off? Benjamin,
I thought it was quite nice. I don't know.
Okay, this is all very weird. And I'd lift the active
Yeah,
cyborg
now
up
you got
and sling it over my shoulder and just like flop it into the grass like in front of the other two. Like, well, okay. This has all gotten very weird.
Did we see that, or was it just her?
Oh, you saw that for a moment that she was talking to it for some reason. But you weren't quite close enough to see what was going on with it.
Does anybody else get any odd messages from strange-looking people with a red glowing eye in a panel that opens up from something that just tried to kill you recently? I realize that's a very specific scenario.
I just look
Not-
at Renata and go, yeah,
So-
I guess she...
Specific. Okay. Odd.
Yeah, it's not one of my top 10 favorite encounters of all time.
No. It just, did you get a name? It just kind of sassed me a little bit and then went dark. And I'm a little annoyed about that.
Oh, yeah. 1 second. And he pulls out his moleskin notebook and he flips the page. Chorus.
Like a group of people singing?
Yeah, that's actually how I spelled it.
Okay. Not real intimidating, honestly. But and you two, Raksha and Yelog, no other than that, anything to share with the group about in that arena of weird?
First I've seen that person, but yes, someone's been following me and been doing so with really quickly, which is unusual. None of us should be that easy to find.
No.
I can't say that anybody has been following me, but my current job involves finding something. But I'm just wondering now, I mean, speaking as a master of the stair, did I sense a door opening? Because I know how I came in, and I know how Renata came in, but how did...
Now that you're thinking about it, you sense something that... Well, here's the thing. It was like a door opening, possibly, but it didn't quite feel right.
Was it a linked door that didn't quite link up correctly? I mean...
Yeah, it kind of feels sort of like that.
Can I close it?
So you sort of start feeling the direction. And it is kind of leading back. It's to a door on the opposite side. It's actually like, yeah, it's like there's a guardhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Just outside the this courtyard.
I start walking towards it.
You start feeling that it might be there.
So I'm feeling where this thing came from. It's over here, and I start moving in that direction.
Yeah.
And I basically ask Renata, do you feel something too? I mean, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like a normal door. This feels off.
Oh, is she good with doors? Because we have another problem. Maybe same problem. Flavor of the same problem. I asked Renata as Yelog is walking away.
Yeah, I suppose we do. Except for the whole not getting drunk thing. That's my problem. But
Yeah. No, because there's yeah, I forgot to mention it. There's an infernal creature that we found in the stove today. Not entirely sure how it got here. It seemed scared about it. So that's 2 things that showed up. Well, I mean, 4 if we count the 2 of you, but 2 things for sure that showed up that probably should not have.
Yeah, I suppose I will grant you that. I don't know. It's really unusual for people to just pick fights with me.
Yeah, I mean, the lightning swords tend to, if people haven't figured it out by then, tend to, go away after that. This is all weird. Suppose we should figure out what Yalog finds out at that door.
Is it very far away, the door?
Oh no, not too far away. It's a little bit of a hike, but you it's just outside the walls.
Does it look like a regular door? Does it look like a corrupted?
As you come around so you see the door to the guardhouse, and you're like, it's not this. And you feel something happening at the back of the guardhouse. And you sort of walk around, and you see something that looks like a glowing tear open.
Oh, that's not good.
And out steps a being. It's very tall, very kind of bulky, and he has a metallic-looking top of his head with one side and one eye looking like a sort of red sensor. As the side of his face looks like it is mechanical. Parts of him look mechanical. Looks very dark, with very broad shoulders. He's wearing sort of spiky armor. As he comes out, as he's carrying, and he's got a whip. Sort of curled up, sort of held in his hand. And you hear the sounds of mechanical things approaching from behind him. Lots of mechanical noises. He just turns his head, and his reticle sort of goes as he sees you. And he says, "Traveler, I would stay out of the way were I you."
Well, I'm not about to argue with someone with an army. However, you are messing around with the doors, and I really can't allow that. In terms of the icon, it's like, can I kind of patch Lanata in and say,
Nice.
we have a problem?
Well, it takes a moment to concentrate when you do that. So it's, if he's willing to stand there and wait for you while you take out the icon and look at it, then sure. But you have a feeling he's not going to wait that long.
No, not at all. So am I in the building, or is it something that I can...
You are right outside the building.
Okay, I am going to, turn...
He is also outside the building, as I said. You walked around to the back. This is as though a door-ish rift opened in the back of the building.
Right, so
he stepped out.
True door. He just somehow created something which is completely corrupt.
Quite possible.
And I basically back away, using all the physical skills I possibly even have. So to basically yell out to everyone saying, "There's a problem." I mean, I'm not taking my eyes away from him. I'm literally like running backward.
He's going to start stepping forward.
Do we see this happening at this point?
Well, you're still inside the courtyard, so you would need to
Right.
go outside the
Okay.
courtyard to see it.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, yes, I would define this situation as a problem.
Yeah, you can hear yelling though. So yeah.
Ah, that's a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that is definitely a thing. So,
So you
Well, in
see
that case,
Lenata-
yeah.
Yeah, you see Lenata floating in on his chase, his cloud chase, and he'll circle out like over a bit, and then his lounging spot sort of just comes down in between Yalog and the newcomer, and he just says, "Hey, so what's your name?"
Perhaps you didn't hear me. Koros. And he reached forwards with his basically with his whip, which looks like it's sort of now made of lightning. And he will attempt to strike at you with it.
Like, oh, you're on my list.
You
And,
you note as you sail down and as he's doing this. Are you trying to get out of the way as he's doing this, or?
he's gonna. Lenata's going to extend out his spear and try to basically turn or deflect the strike.
Excellent. Let me just look at a thing real quick. Now, did you by any chance purchase the spear as a separate item, or is that?
It
or
is
it
a
just
separate
Yep.
item. Yeah,
Is that because
I did put it on the description line in my
description line? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's where I'm. Just need to know where I need to look here. So 10 point. Okay, got it. Deadly damage, danger, sensitivity, and vulnerable to conventional weapons. Got it. Well, here's the interesting thing. If this works the same way as it did in Amber, if I'm recalling this correctly, deadly damage does just does happen to outrank invulnerable to conventional weapons just, and this thing comes forward, and you just getting it in the, you just barely manage to get it in the way, and the whip knocks the thing down and sears the end off of it.
Oh, I guess the pen really isn't that mighty. I'm really upset now. He's gonna chuck the one of the broken ends of the sphere straight at Koros's head.
All right.
It's more of an insult thing than it is to actually hurt him, because
Certainly.
Azure is a real bad idea.
Well, as the spear arcs his head, you see that he has brought his arm up just in time. It just deflects it.
Okay.
It does affect him, but it's not. Yeah.
So that was basically a distraction. Lenata is a little pissed that he lost his 300-year-old weapon, so he's going to follow that up with a straight kick to his groin.
Excellent. Good. You do that. You come forward, hit him in the groin. And he's like, Really? And as you're this close, he reaches forward and grabs you by the shoulder. Quick, I'm going to shift real quick over once again. Adria, you would like to do something?
I have a really bad idea.
Yes.
So at this point, I see Koros, and I also see the army of people that are sort of streaming out behind him.
There are some robots starting to come through the rift. Yes.
Super. What looks like the bigger problem? The robots and Koros who are already here, or the rift that shouldn't be there that's allowing people to come through?
It's kind of a toss-up. What you're seeing, how are you looking at this, actually? Let me ask you that.
From a warrior perspective.
Okay.
Just like sheer, from a fighter's perspective, which is the bigger problem, which needs to be dealt with first?
Tactically, it's probably the cyborg and the robots.
Okay. So the PDF died on me and I'm reloading it trying to find a thing. So all of these things are metal, yeah?
Well, they all of these things look metal.
Okay, that's a really specific distinction I don't like hearing from the GM. So, okay. This is, I don't know how to play this game. So what can Eidolon Mastery actually do?
Oh, many things.
Okay. Because this is like bad idea number 2. I'm not going to do bad idea number 1 since he said it looks like metal.
Sure, no, absolutely. So Eidolon Mastery has a few different things you can do. Basically, the idea, it's a lot of these powers are very moldable, as it were. To be done in sort of ways that you're looking at. What you're doing is you're taking the essence of pure order and trying to either, you can invest things with it, you can use it to help yourself perceptually notice things, you can use it to try to guide and shape this Gossamer reality. You can make it stronger. You can edit reality, move things about. You can use it for self-defense. You can bring up an image of the Eidolon and use that defensively, or use it potentially for attack. There are a few different. There are a number of different ways you can make use of it. It's really just a question of, if you had a thing of pure order, if you had a line to the very embodiment of order, what would you use it for?
Organizing my makeup bag.
It can do that too.
I mean, let's just be honest here. That's where I'm at in my life right now. If it
helps him, like, Yalog's gonna yell from where she is. I can close it. I need cover.
Oh, yeah, got it. We're gonna go back to bad idea number 1.
Okay.
Because in theory these things are metal, or there's at least enough metal in them, and anything that's in the Stormlands is very specifically not metal, because that's a bad idea, or it's very little bit of metal, like Adria's gauntlets. She would like to use Eidolon Mastery and turn off the lightning towers.
Ooh, nice.
Oh.
That is
under the theory that the lightning, just briefly, like only for like a second or two, in theory that the lightning will be attracted to the metal things and not, the flesh and blood creatures around here. So just like, it's like a turn it off and then right back on again, just enough to have enough lightning strikes to, in theory, zap these things.
Have you tried turning the world off and back on again?
Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen here. If Yalog's got the door under control, because that was going to be idea number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll go back to bad idea number 1.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will, again, shock anything that's coming through as well, so that
Yeah.
give her the straight line through.
So you're taking a
Go ahead.
moment and you're like bringing up the Eidolon, which that is going to take you a second.
Yeah.
To get this set up, and you use it. You flow. You push your will through it and into the towers as you imagine them, and just editing this Gossamer world just enough for the towers to flip off.
Mm-hmm.
So that happens, but as that is happening, just moving around real quick. Yalog, are you waiting before you rush in for the? I assume you're waiting for the lightning to strike before you rush in.
Correct.
Or are you okay? All right. I just want to make sure I'm clear on there. What is Raksha doing while this is going on?
I'm looking for the weak point. I'm looking for the place to strike to. And by weak point in this case, I mean the weak point within the cyborg and his minions.
Ah, okay. So you come around and you see them, and I do need to note. So you're still kind of in the back. You're still a bit a ways. You've just come through the gate. And
Yeah,
you
I'm easily
come
the farthest
around.
one away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see the cyborg, and you start thinking, "Oh, look for the weak point," and then you realize what they're coming out of, because you've heard of these things, and it kind of almost whispered about, and one wouldn't even say a legendary fashion, but as like, "My God, why would you try doing this?" fashion. That appears to be a chaos rift that they are coming.
Oh.
Ooh.
Which,
That's
So
a good term.
yeah.
So knowing what I do about those, do I think, and I know that Yalog is far and away the best of us as far as the doors go.
Yeah.
Do I think, from what I know about her, that she's going to be able to close this like it's a door?
I'm not even going to close. I mean, simply put, I said close, but what I am planning on doing is sever the
Nice.
door.
You think she can,
Okay.
at least for now, as long as they don't try punching any more holes in reality.
Because if she can't do it, the rest of us have no hope. I'm just going
This
to,
is
So,
this is basically taking some of the chaos of the void, of the shadow, and using it to punch holes in Gossamer worlds, which is
got it. In that case, I know what I'm doing.
It's a thing that you're, that very, even knowing the few people that you might, even just early on, this was like a very big "don't do this" type situation. It can cause.
Okay.
It ends up causing
Yeah.
way more damage than.
In that case,
that does tell you.
I now have a plan.
Yeah, I will tell
I have
you.
a bad idea to go along with Andrea's bad idea.
This also
Bad
tells
idea.
you,
High five.
Team bad life choices. It does also, by the way, tell you that this cyborg has got to be this guy has got, and you haven't really taken a moment to study him yet because you were gonna, but then you were distracted.
Yeah.
But at the back of your head, it's like, okay, this guy's got to be an Umbra master. It's got to be.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So. All right, one of two things here, and Okay, so actually, my question is, I'm still looking for the weak spot, but now what I'm doing is, which of the I have the option to strike two different things. I can either try to siphon some of the chaos from this rift, or I can try to mess up the cyborg and his robots. Which of these do I feel is the most vulnerable, as it were?
To you,
Yeah, specifically to me.
the rift is probably a little more going to be more vulnerable to you than. he
Okay,
is.
that fits nicely with that idea. So the way Umbra Defense works is it basically just creates a shield of chaos that sucks everything into it.
Yes.
So I'm just going to get as close as I can to that rift, and I'm going to become the shield of chaos and start siphoning the chaos away from it, which is, ironically enough, going to strengthen this Gossamer world because I'm literally making it more ordered by becoming the focus of the chaos.
Interesting. Okay, so you're preparing to do that, and I will say, as you are stepping forward and doing this, and this is even as the cyborg is struggling with Lanada. You see the sort of the eye go. He kind of glances over Lanada's shoulder as you're coming, and smiles. And it occurs to you, you think you may have seen that smile before somewhere. It's not the person you were talking about earlier, but you've run into other Umbra Masters before, so this might have been someone that you knew at one time. So, as you are, I just realized I had cyborg fighting music I haven't been using up until now.
Oh man.
And so, as you are as you're coming forward, I'm going to go back to Lanada. Lanada, this thing has actually gripped you by the shoulder, and it is strong. He is his fingers, becoming almost pincer-like, are tearing into you, and he's starting to are just basically coming down. This guy is causing you pain. What would you like to do?
He grabs the hand on his shoulder, like, oh my god, I think this is what pain feels like. And he's going to twist or try to twist out of it, and in such a way that he delivers a kick to the back of the cyborg's head as a counter, and then use that as a way to sort of springboard away and get some space.
All right. So you swing around, and I'm gonna need to. This contest is so close. I'm going to have to check your stuff total. Oh, I think you spent exactly. Did you spend exactly 100 points? You did, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Ah, okay. So, 0 stuff. He's going to come around as you're doing this, and he's able to bring his hand up just a split second before you land your leg to him, so you don't quite get him in the head, but you do get him. The two of you do tumble down, basically.
Okay.
So you did hit him. It's just like So you've almost got out of his grasp. It pulls further, and he's locked onto your arm. And he seems to be, as you're down there on the ground, he's seeming to rear back, and he's trying to drive his fist into your into you. Adria, the towers are off. Mm-hmm. Are you calling down the lightning?
Yep.
I do want to point out one tiny thing. Just a wee thing.
Yep.
The cyborg does have hold of Lanada right now.
Yep.
Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
I survived.
Not even as... I'm cool with that.
All right. So, are you using Eidolon Mastery again to call the lightning, or are you using something else?
I have my gauntlets have mold Gossamer reality in them, so I think I will not strain the Eidolon too much with that and use the Eidolon to pull the towers down, but then use the gauntlets as a channel for pulling the lightning down.
Okay.
Aiming all that.
A crash of lightning comes down. A bolt of lightning as these things skittering on legs are coming out of this rift. There are like 3 or 4 of them now. And the cyborg, and this lightning bolt comes crashing down. And you see these 3 or 4 things that just came out just are like, yeah, they're immediately flipped on their back. The electricity arcs through the cyborg as he stomps, as he kind of, for a split second, let me actually look at, wait, I gotta check your, I gotta look at your stats real quick. So yeah, okay, yeah. He stomps the ground real quick with one leg. As he does, and it actually, as he's hauled back, the lightning hits his hand and comes through. As he's looking up, and he's like, lightning comes through, and there's a jolt. Lanada, you feel this jolt as though you've just been hit by lightning.
Sorry.
It's like, as the 2 of you, and he's like, and he's standing there, the cyborg's standing there, gritting his teeth. And you see the robots that are with him have all fallen down, but he has not. And you see, he just sort of...
Yeah. So Lanada's waiting. Can Lanada do this? Can he open a double door to the grand stair? So what he's going to do, he's going to open like a door over his body in such a way that when the guy punches through it, he's going to punch through the door, and then there's another door on the other side in the grand stair which opens back up to this plane.
Well, I think you actually...
over his head so he can punch himself.
I think there actually has to be a That's an awesome idea. I think the way that this works, you actually have to find a physical door to cause that to... and it has to be an already existing door. So if you had a door between the 2 of you already, you could do it.
Does he have a panel on his chest? Does he have a panel on his chest?
The cyborg does have a panel on his chest.
Technically a door.
Technically a door.
Let me take a look and see though if it's... Can you make a door into a door with a little d into a door with a capital D with regular if you're a warden? Now, Master of the Grand Stair can create new doors.
It has to be a door that's linked to the
doors.
grand stair.
Yeah.
I love that idea though.
It's a great idea.
It's amazing.
Great idea.
Yeah, Yalog could do it, could actually turn that panel into a door. But Lanada, unfortunately, if you're not a master of the Grand Stair, so you would not be able to actually make that into a door.
Okay. Second idea is, can I summon Fluffy to pull me out of the way?
That I think you can do. You just basically pull the cloud just sort of comes down and is like, just sort of yoinks you just as he's like, because he's been delayed by being struck by lightning.
Sorry.
And after a second, you see that it's like, so the reticle goes down and then it's like back again. And he's like, it's good to be grounded. And he pulls back. Yalog, you see that you've had a moment of distraction if you want to dive in and do something with this rift. You see that Raksha is drawing energy from it, so it might be easier for you now even.
Oh, I'm definitely, making the gestures and symbols of literally cutting it off, like cutting off the link, cutting off the rift, and severing it. So, I mean, between the hand gestures and the slamming, basically like slamming shut, and it's like, severing, cutting, motions that Yalog's making. I mean, she's also like creating these tendrils of energy from within her connection to the stair, which is becoming extremely visible. So it's almost like it started off as like, little wisps, and then it's turning more solid and literally like tendrils of energy like tearing apart the rift, coming from her to that crack in reality. So yeah, it's getting pretty loud visually, to say the least.
So you see that as this happens, yeah, you see that everyone sees that this rift just sort of collapses in on itself and vanishes as Yellog seals that. As Yellog seals it. Raksha, you feel this, the sort of some of these energies surging into you. You've got chaos. What would you like to do with it?
Well, as the chaos passes through me, my form, my physical form begins to flow. My hair is now shorter. I'm about 4 inches taller, and my eyes are glowing red. And I think it's time to share this gift I've received with our cyborg friend.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if now he has a lot of the same affinities that I do, so I'm not going to attack him. I'm going to attack his machinery.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to make it stop working.
Okay. So you lean into the decay. You lean into everything break now. Basically, is what you're trying to do with him.
Exactly.
As you're pushing forward with this. What does it look like when you do this?
Let's see. As the energy was coursing around me, it's not just my physical form, but everything else around me is rippling too. So it looks like heat shimmer. The grass I'm standing on goes through several cycles of death and rebirth. And then I literally just move my hands in a gathering motion and aim it at him. And it does a similar warping effect. Where the air, there's a shimmer in the air, everything becomes, actually some parts of the air become solid, some of them turn into different liquids. Everything between me and this guy just begins to move through whatever forms it has available to it, and some that shouldn't even be happening in this shadow. Sorry, look, not shadow, Gossamer world. So yeah, it's sometimes it actually looks similar to the lightning bolts that Adri was shooting at him, and other times like snow and just darkness and blue energy, whatever can get in there. And I'm hoping to I'm sure that his stuff doesn't actually rust, but that's what's in Raksha's head is making it rust. Yeah.
So you reach forward with this, and in the first few seconds you notice that you hear this sort of so his power levels are going down and these, and as you're reaching out, you notice that it changes and shifts. And it's kind of almost, it's not exactly a liquid metal thing that happens, but it's kind of like a nanite type thing that's happening.
Oh, got it.
As the cybernetics itself are shifting as well.
It is simultaneously fascinating and frustrating.
And so it's, but you're noticing that you can actually do this faster than he can.
Ah, okay.
You've noticed that his expression of Umbra Mastery you think is through his machinery.
Oh, wow.
So that's how he can change things so quickly.
Cool. Okay.
And And you manage to actually make it so that it's like he's fighting it, and it's all he can. It seems it's like until you see his skin starts bubbling. The metal, I should say, starts bubbling, and he sinks to his knees. And he just sort of looks up. He's like, "You've grown strong."
I was always strong. It sure would be a shame if someone stabbed you right now.
And then he smiles. Yellog, you feel another door opening further away.
Nope.
Ooh.
How far away?
You think it's opening inside the castle.
Love of.
There's another door opening. I literally screamed that.
Oh, for the love of!
And then I point to it. I
doors.
point towards where it is, and I start running towards it.
I'm gonna turn the lightning towers back on because they did what I needed them to do, and there's no sense in letting the whole castle get electrocuted anymore. As I saw something about Eidolon, where did it go? I'm back. I feel like somewhere. Oh yeah. Awareness of the stair. An Eidolon master is able to discern the presence of a door when encountering one in a Gossamer world. So would I get a vibe as to where this door is opening as well?
Yeah, you kind of have to sort of swing it around for a second and think about it. Yalog kind of noticed it immediately, but you kind of have to focus on it for a second.
Okay.
And so you're beaming, you're honing in on it.
Is it in the kitchen?
Yeah.
By any chance? Like in the stove?
You think it's probably kitchen-esque, yeah.
Oh man. Guess what we need is more weird stuff showing up today here. I follow. I look over at Raksha and Lanada and say, "You got this one? We good?"
Lanada just laughs.
I think I have things well in hand.
Sorry about the lightning, by the way. Sorry. We've got medics. We'll take care of it.
I need a weapon, something sharp.
I grab one of the pikes from one of the guards that has been standing around doing absolutely nothing, and just like
they're running forward, trying to help.
They're running toward it. I grab the pike out of their hand and throw it over toward Lanada. It's a mundane pike, but you've got one.
So Lanada grabs it, and he takes the remaining end of his previous staff, and then just latches it to the other end, so that he's got a double-pointed pike now. And he's going to charge behind Koros, and do what Raksha suggested, and just basically impale him through the chest.
Okay, so you're doing that. You're running around. You notice Koros is sort of looking up and smiling as Raksha notices this because Lanada's too busy running around and getting ready to stab.
Floating around,
getting ready to stab.
Floating, yeah, good point.
The cloud sweeps around behind, comes soaring down. And this is kind of almost a thing that happens in slow motion. You see Koros, again, locks eyes with Raksha, smiles, raises his hand. And Lanada comes down, the stabs him through the back. You see this, you see the point jutting out through the front of Koros's abdomen. That's going to sting. And then you see him turn. Then you see Koros turn two-dimensional, and he fades away as his hand seems to be grasping someone else's.
Got it. As he's leaving, I whisper, "I've already forgotten your name."
So, Yalog and Adria are heading inside, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
You dash in. Yalog, you immediately know that a door has been created. You think it's in the kitchen. You dash into the kitchen. And Yalog and Adria, you see a figure standing there. It's a Yalog, you recognize this person. They're about average height. It's female, sort of marble-looking skin, and tightly curled hair. She's got hold of the imp.
Is that Phaedra?
And that is Phaedra. And she says, and she looks at you, her eyes sort of almost like, her grill-like eyes, they're not entirely human-looking right now, but she looks at you, and she nods, and she says, "Oh, this is the place." And she reaches for her hand. She's got her hand, which goes into the imp's stomach, and the imp is like, "Ah!" She pulls out a key.
Shit.
And she
You
looks.
know this person?
Yes.
This key, as you gaze upon it, although it is rather bloody, does look significant because you notice that it's the hilt of the key. I don't know these words that define keys. They're all in there, but the bit that you grab onto,
Mm-hmm.
you can sort of, it's hard to see because, blood and distance and everything, but there's this symbol, Yalog, that you realize you have not seen for a very, very long time. But you remember seeing it. You just can't exactly remember the context, but you know that you have seen that symbol before. And it feels like it was a very long time ago.
Is that my key? Phaedra, is that my key?
It was what I hired you to find. Well done. And she tosses the imp down. And says, "You shall be paid in full." She steps backwards. And the door to the cellar slams shut.
I go to the cellar door and immediately put my hand on it to try to figure out where it goes.
She has, it seems like, as this is going, it seems like she is doing a thing to close it from her side. So it's going to take you a minute to get through.
Can I use any sort of Eidolon mastery wizardry to help Yalog?
Yeah, if you want to lend some brute force to it, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, with what Yalag is doing right now, Yalag, are you trying to more to get the thing open, or you're just more trying to sense where it goes?
I'm using the ability sensing lost links. Like if she's trying to close it or lock it against me, I want to know where it goes.
Okay. It seems to go to a portion of the grand stair that is, as far as you're focusing, and you sense that it's near the far end of the labyrinth. And you realize you're seeing a sort of a room that's near the far end of the labyrinth, sort of circular room with plants, vines creeping up the wall, and a table with a single music box on it with a spinning figure. And you realize that you've been there before. You think this was a room that you found yourself in not very long after you started doing this, ages ago. It's kind of what you're perceiving as where this door goes.
Now I'm trying to get into the door. I don't know if it's necessarily visible or not, but I mean, I am viscerally using my attunement to open the bloody door.
So she hasn't had time to turn it into not a door. Although it is a recently created door, so, you know, who knows. You're focusing on it, and Adria, if you're helping, then that will probably, let me actually, hang on, I'm going to do a quick psyche check. Oh, you're probably good. Yeah, and with both of you working, yeah, so Adria helps you a little bit with her Eidolon Mastery, basically there to kind of like just sort of push when you need it. But after a few moments, you are able finally to kind of spring it and batter through. And I just want to ask briefly. So while that's happening, though, it takes a couple minutes for you two to do that. Lanada and Raksha, are you doing anything else outside? What are you doing after this?
It doesn't seem to me like there's a whole lot else to do here. So last I heard, someone's opening a door in the castle. So I think maybe I should check that out. Because one of two things is happening. Either the person that I know that is best at doors is going to take care of it, or some new army's coming through. Either way, I think I want to be there.
So Lanada grabs both ends of his broken spear, and he just says, "Get in, bitch. We're going to the castle."
So
in
yes,
the cloud car, which is now a cloud car.
do you?
Oh, sure. Seems like the fastest way.
The cloud car goes sailing inside. You just sort of through the corridors, over guards' heads, through low-hanging banners. You come out, sort of figure out that they're in the kitchen. Come around. You see Adria and Yalog are concentrating on the cellar door. And you see the imp is lying on the floor like gripping its stomach.
What?
Weird lady showed up, curly hair, odd skin, pulled a key out of your friend here.
Well, that's horrible.
Went through the door. Yeah, didn't really have a chance to scold her before she turned our wine cellar door into a portal.
Oh, great. So she's ruined the wine cellar and killed an imp.
The wine cellar might be fine on the other end. I don't... Do doors work in a way that, like, it's just you need the physical door as a portal, but everything that the door would normally open to is actually fine?
Yeah, actually, I think it does. So,
Okay, just double check.
I think it depends on how you open the door. That's a good point. Otherwise, we couldn't get anywhere. Like, well, crap, I'm back at the stair.
Yeah.
God dang it.
Yeah, I think the wardens and the masters have the ability to open doors to.
Right, I think you're right. Yeah.
But then they, for everybody else, it would just be normal. So.
Okay, so the wine cellar's fine, but yeah.
The door bursts open because you have opened it by this point. The Yalag and Adria have by this point. You've been concentrating, and the door swings open, and you see this sort of circular room in the toward the end of the labyrinth on the other side.
Is it a big room?
Not very big, no.
Do I see any other exits or entrances out of the room?
So you step through?
Yes.
Okay. So Yalag has stepped through into this other room, and I just wanted to know briefly what everyone else is doing before I proceed.
Adria grabs a loaf of bread and one of the bottles of wine and
Priorities.
walks through.
So smart. That's awesome.
Needs a bit of a snack after all that,
Yeah.
What? Lanata watches like, what, no cheese? It just starts looking around the pantries for anything else to go.
Points out where there's like the cold storage where there might be cheese or something.
Yeah. There's
Back
cheese.
there. This was just on the way.
Yeah. There's cheese here. There's actually also there's also another bottle of wine out here.
Adria grabbed the full one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The half-empty one is out here, and it looks for a moment like the imp was trying to drink out of it before he got snatched. They still got some wine in there. So I assume you're gonna just grab some.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that Winona being a foodie, he's going to actually prepare.
Oh, okay.
A suitable basket to round out the snack.
There's also some dried meats. You could probably do a good charcuterie board out of this.
Yeah. He will totally do that. He'll grab a knife set. He'll grab a cutting board.
He'll put it in the cloud car. It's fine.
Of course.
Yeah. He'll just put it in the cloud cart. That's
Okay.
what it's there for.
Yeah. So Lanata's prepping that. What is Raksha doing?
I place a finger gently on the imp's third eye and put it out of its misery. And then prepare to follow through the door.
Okay. Yalag, as you step out into this room, and you look around, across the way from you is what looks like a very simple wooden door. But with a sort of silvery framing.
Do I see Phaedra anywhere?
You do not. But you can tell that door across from you has just been used.
I place my hand on it and I want to sense where it is. If I, know its name.
This is... It's very strange. Because you've not had this feeling for some time. This feels... You get the sense of home. It's a place of both magic and technology. Something almost semi-celestial in nature.
I just keep my hand on the door, and I mean, I just start to cry. I mean, I haven't been at a home for probably millennia now, and I don't know necessarily what to do except just hold the door and cry a little to myself, because that is such a unfamiliar but familiar feeling that it hits me hard. Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's almost like you don't understand first what the feeling fully is, and you don't fully understand why you're crying, and then it's like sort of starts to dawn on you what this might be. And this is what sort of, as Adria and Raksha come into this room on the grand stair, you see Yalog standing across with her hand on the wooden door.
You okay?
I'm not sure.
It's a legitimate answer to that question. What's on the other side?
Oh.
Oh.
She's literally almost like not breathing. I mean, it's like her breath is held, but
Do you want to open the door?
if yes, no was an answer, then that would be her answer. Can I? From what I'm sensing from behind the door, I mean, can I?
Well, without that key, it will probably be difficult. But you also are thinking it might be possible for you to do it, because this is where you're from.
I reach for a discernible handle and I open the door.
It takes a great deal of energy and willpower as you are reaching forward, and you realize you're going to need to basically sort of sitting there, and kind of as you're feeling it, it's like this is going to take a minute. And so there's a certain amount of energy that happens. It seems to take basically all your might. But you turn the handle. I think by this point, Lanada, you'll sort of be coming through the opposite door, and you'll see that there is a door being opened on the far side of a room. As you've got your picnic basket. You see on the far side a door swing open, and beyond it are billowing clouds.
Well, he's just going to pack up his cloud car and Was this the same door that the other three went through?
Well, no, you see them. They're in a round room right now. That's where you are, and they've just opened a door. Beyond it are billowing clouds.
Or
And,
specifically, Yalog has opened a door.
Yalog has opened the door.
Yeah.
And beyond, you see these billowing clouds, and you see it's kind of like a cliffside. A cliff. It's like it's a precipice, not very close, but you know, it's like
Sure.
you're gonna come out on top of you all see if you step through, you're gonna come out on top of a cliff.
Between the exertion of opening the door and just awe and being overwhelmed with the feeling of home, Yalog drops to her knees at the, on the that world's side of the door.
Okay. So you just step through and drop to your knees? Okay. So yeah, you are through. There it is. You feel the breeze on your face. Is anyone else stepping through?
I stepped to the precipice, not the precipice. I stepped to the right up to the door, and I say, "Do you want to be alone?"
Without looking back at them, I kind of just look out over the cliff and I say, I've been alone for thousands of years.
Without a word, I'll step through.
What about
I reach over to the picnic basket that Lanata has brought with him, and lift it out of the cloud car and walk through.
Lanata just mutters, well, I was going to go through. And just, floats over. And he doesn't float over the precipice. Instead, he's actually, still in midair, looking, circling around a little bit just to get a better idea of the space.
So you all have stepped into this world where you see that you've stepped out of the lighthouse that looks both very old and very modern at the same time. Atop it, sort of beacon shining out. You see the clouds sort of almost all around you, being as high up as you are. You see a city that seems to be shining in the distance, off way down. There's an ocean rolling in. And among the clouds, flitting from place to place, you see winged people. You look down and you see, sort of coming back and forth, vehicles coming back and forth from the city, and you see non-winged people down there. And then, just over the horizon, you see, finally, just sort of looking around, you see what looks like the woman Phaedra standing at a chariot, being held aloft by more of these wings, sort of a palanquin being carried by more winged people. She flies off toward a distant tower. So something is afoot here, but you have at least found a home. And this is where we're going to end our little session of Lords of Gossamer and Shadow. Thank you all very much for playing. Just wanted to just kick the tires on this. And very pleased we got a one shot out of it. It's very cool. All right.
Thank you
We're
so
gonna-
much.
Yes, thank you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna go around and we're going to do our outros. Feel free to say where folks can find you, and feel free to call out if you want any favorite moments, or just basically say any final thoughts you had about this session. And we will start with Brian.
I'm Brian. Thanks Jim for running it, and thanks to the rest of you for playing it. This was awesome. I am Veclam on Twitter, and you can also find me as one of the hosts of the Armor Goes Clank podcast. This is great. I've been running and playing the Amber Diceless game since 1991. So I always will jump at the chance to play this system again. And my favorite part was just the interactions between all the characters. I thought that was great.
Awesome. Please, we finally got to play a diceless game together.
It took over 10 years, but we finally managed to do it.
Really?
Oh my God, no! It's longer than that.
Yep.
It's much longer. It was maybe 15 or 20. So wow, good
Yeah,
point.
it's closer to 20. It's
Yeah,
been
it
like
is.
20 years. Yeah. I think it was
Yeah. Whoa.
I think that was 1999.
I think you're. I think you're right. I think that was it.
So, that was the thing. Yep.
Woo.
Finally made
So,
it.
go us.
Now over to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name's Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. You'll see me in about an hour back on this channel for Ghosts of Saltmon, our D&D / Dark Matter crossover campaign. I have fun doing diceless games just because it's it's mostly all role playing and not so much fumbling with mechanics, and so I always enjoy that, particularly on this channel, and just being able to interact with different characters and play a character that is like on the opposite end of my character from last night was just really fun. So thanks.
Yay. And that actually is, I think, my favorite thing about diceless games. The thing that I discovered back in the 90s with this is that it's pretty much all role playing. So that's always awesome when we get to do those. And now over to Mads.
Hi, I'm Mads, and I thank Jim and the rest of this wonderful crew for having me play with you guys today, because this is my very first experience with a diceless system, which was amazing, and it's pretty much brought in everything I love about TTRPG, which is the role play. I mean, that's the basic point. I've played for years regular dice systems, and I did not even realize until just last year with channels like OtherDoc and other channels, the numerous, almost infinite amount of our TTRPGs that are out there. So yeah, that was my favorite part, like role playing with all of you. So I appreciate that very, very much. So you can find me on Twitter at Madeline Colley, and I'm also on Discord as well, like, trolling all the wonderful Discords, like, to try to find games to play.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we got your first diceless game in.
Oh yeah. No, thank you so much.
Yay. I loved I loved everything about Yellog. It was great. It was really awesome. And finally, over to Sarah.
Hi, I am Sarah. I am Sarah of Swords. Pretty much everywhere that you can find people. You can also find me at 8 p.m. on Saturdays over on the Welcome to the Party channel, GMing Waverly Summer 98, a bubblegum shoe game of teen detectives, nostalgia, and the supernatural. So some major stuff got dropped last night, so I can't wait to see what kind of happens next time. But this was, I cannot say I understand how to play this game yet. But this is my first experience with diceless RPG system. It's something that's always been fascinating to me of like, how do you do a tabletop RPG without dice? And so that was really fun to kind of see how that works and really getting to do more inter-character role play stuff that doesn't always necessarily have space to do that in a more traditional system that has a lot of dice rolls behind it.
Totally, absolutely. Well, as for me, and this, I was just very, very, very delighted that we were able to get everyone here that we were able to get here. We actually had quite a turnout for the sign-ups on this, so I was very pleased about that. So I'm probably going to want to try to do more Lords of Gossamer and Shadow at some point in the future. I don't know what shape that will take, but. That's the thing, is how to cram 90 people into into a single game. That's the question. It wasn't that many signups, but it was more like 12. But how to cram even that, like people, it's a question, because I can foresee. I know it's possible because my Amber tabletop game had 12 people in it originally, but that was an in-person thing and it wasn't all at once. But we'll see. But yeah, it would be neat to be able to, I think, try to revisit at some point in the future. I gotta sort of figure things out with respect to that. Time is a problem. But I do love the fact that it is as decentralized as it is, so you don't necessarily have to worry as much about one pole of the universe or the other. There's a certain amount of lore that you lose when you're going, when it's not Amber itself. But at the same time, the fact that they give you the tools to make your own lore with this, I think
I agree.
Definitely is it's very much worthy of doing. So it's very cool in that respect, and I can foresee a time, perhaps, of. One day actually going with it and building up a mythology, as it were, related to it. So lots of that. I definitely want to take some time and revisit it and actually read through more thoroughly both the core book and all the other books once I get a chance. But as for me, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. Before I say about what's going on, I will once again just briefly mention once again our campaigns that we have going on. One through our Sprawl campaign for the Bale Project, Team Phyllis. Please check that out. And then also, if there's any interest in other charities, Campaign Zero is a charity dedicated to ending police violence. So definitely want to direct folks there as well. So what's happening here on this channel? Tonight, in about an hour, we resume our campaign of Dark Matter, Ghosts of Saltmaw. Ghosts of Saltmarsh in Space, run by the wonderful Alyssa. Then tomorrow night, I'm going to be over on Salty Sweet Games playing in their 5e campaign, Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. On Tuesday night, we are continuing with our short campaign, our June campaign of Casketland, which is an occult western that's powered by the apocalypse. Lots of cannibalism. Seems to... we did our world building, and that's where they wanted to go, so that seems to be where we're going. These things happen. Thursday afternoons, I am over on Encounter Roleplay, running Deadlands Noir, Dreams of Dust. There's been a lot of revelations there recently, but it's a very, very cool sort of Western Noir campaign that we've been going through, and we've got a few more sessions left. Then, of course, Thursday night, back on this channel, we have our short we have our campaign of The Sprawl, which is a cyberpunk powered by the apocalypse game run by that fellow over there. It is a crazy amount of fun because the way those mechanics are structured, the world keeps building onto itself and spreading out and out and out, and it is glorious.
Everything is totally fine.
Everything is fine. This is fine.
Next session is gonna go real smooth.
Yeah.
All we need to do is steal a car.
Yeah,
That's
that's it. Just steal the car.
No one is trying to kill you.
One of the simplest possible things you can try to do.
For the record, Bill is not fine with what's I'm just gonna say that right now.
FYI.
It's just like after a few minutes, it's like I just can sense him being like, "Oh, I should have just gone in and stolen the damn car. I shouldn't have gotten these bozos involved. They just got everything. They just overcomplicated everything." Which that's fair. But in any case, on Saturday nights, we have our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Last night, we had the first mention of the Edge of Paradox in game. It actually came up. They talked to the right NPC, and now they're starting to get a sense, perhaps a tiny sense, of what that means. And so finally, it is coming forth. I kind of run that game in much the same way you saw me run this game for the most part. I mean, it has dice and it has cards that one draws for prompts, but there is a lot of just mostly the crazed interaction. And then Sunday, 1 week from today, usually on Sundays we have one-shots. I'm actually taking next Sunday off. So the next time you'll see a one-shot in this channel will probably be 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm going to be taking some time to figure out kind of how I want to approach things because I have come to the realization that I cannot hold with the number. So confession time here. This channel started on one-shots. One-shots and me playing Thimbleweed Park. So I do not ever want to abandon the one-shots. It is one of my missions to bring as many different kinds of games to people as possible. For those who might not have seen them, try to give them as good a treatment as I can, which is why I go to the trouble of doing these overlays and doing music and stuff like that and graphics and what have you. It's within what I'm able to do in a short period of time. But I'm finding that I am involved in a lot more campaigns now than I was previously, a lot more games, and I was not paying attention as much to my bandwidth. I barely managed to grab hold of what pieces I could of this game before we started, and this was with a system I knew well. So I'm actually going to take a little time and figure out a bit of a reframing for how I want to do the one-shots. I will never abandon them, but I need to take more time before I present new systems that I'm not, new games that I haven't done before on this channel. So you're probably going to start seeing that we're probably going to be bringing back some things that haven't been here for like a year or so. I'm going to be talking to people various on the Discord and what have you, and we're going to just sort of start thinking of kind of what we want to do. So we'll still do one-shots, but the newer ones, the ones new to the channel, I'm going to take a little more time with so I can make sure they get the attention that I've always wanted to give them. And that's really where I'm kind of going with that. So we'll see how it goes. So at this point, when we hit the end card, we're going to send a raid. I'm going to send a raid over to Little Cup of Joe. And they've got something going on called The Land Whispers. And so I figure we'll go and check that out. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden. Farewell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.